We're all we're live. Hi, I'm
Oh
Ken
my
Wall.
goodness.
This is my co-host, dude. No other. There you go. That's Glenn Morshower.
And that's Ken Walls.
What's
And
going on?
we are the Ken and Glenn duo.
And
Ken and
we're missing a guy named Scott right now.
And yes, we are, but we wish Scott well. He likes to have his midweek privacy. So we don't bother him midweek.
We don't bother Scott. So hey, look, Corey Calvin's on here. You remember Corey Calvin, don't you?
I do. Oh wow, I just got a notification that Ken Walls was going live. I'm thinking, well, I think I've already figured that out. Hello, Jason. Hello, Corey.
Jason Auld is my brother up here in the Columbus, Ohio area. He's here in Greater Columbus. Dublin, if you're familiar with Dublin. There's Larry Schneider. Is it Larry Schneider or Larry Schneider? No, it's Schneider. Schneider. Yeah. Why did I always have thought it was Schneiderer or something.
Well, yeah, if it had another E and 5 more R's. It might be Larry Schneider.
But it's just Larry Schneider.
It seems pretty cut and dry, Ken, to be honest.
I think so. There's
our buddy Weldon.
Love Weldon. He's a good dude, man.
You know, I love Weldon, and I haven't even met him, but he always says very kind things when we're doing our show. And how could I not like him or love him? He seems like a solid dude.
He is a solid dude.
Hey, let's stop right there and analyze the overuse of the word dude that has occurred in my life since meeting you. I would say that I used to say dude on average. I'm going to give it once every 6 weeks. Now 20 times a day minimum.
How many?
20 times a day minimum. And where it's really out of control is when I'm speaking with a lady. And I go, dude, seriously. And then every time I do it, I turn and go, damn it. And then sometimes I turn to you and go, damn it, Ken. Just stop. Get out of my head.
I'm looking the wrong way.
Here, look at me now. Here, let's do this. Let's let this be our live feed where it's just sharing our thoughts.
Dude, you're killing me. I said, dude, you're killing me.
See?
Oh my God, that's funny. Holy crap.
Here's the new quote. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't take the dude out of the dude.
You said
lead a horse to water, but you can't take the dude out of Ken.
Dude, you said to me earlier, you said, I have literally
I'm not getting ready to go to a 12-step program for my overuse of dude.
You said to me earlier, I use the word dude more than I ever have in my entire life. I've literally 10x'd the amount of times I use the word dude.
And I also went on to say, and I've even worked with the original dude, Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
And even the dude didn't have me saying dude as much as you do, dude, which I love. I mean, it's beautiful. Listen, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Dude, I do say it a lot, man.
But it's not too much. It is uniquely wonderful about you. It's one of the many things. Look, dude, where's my car? I love it. It is one of a laundry list of things that endear. In fact, we didn't even plan this, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to choose our first topic.
Oh God. You ready? Oh God, no.
I'm not going to even ask. I'm going to choose our first topic, and I am going to go.
I can mute you.
That's true. But here's our first topic for the night. The first topic for the night. You ready, guys? I need your help. I need everyone's help that's listening. Please do not be bashful. The topic tonight is things you love about Ken.
Oh, okay? Come on. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. It's not okay if you ask it, but it's okay if I ask it.
I don't like that.
Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell you what I find.
What if we don't get any comments?
Well, then that means you should just give up entirely. You should get out of all social media and quit thinking that you're somebody special. How about that?
Oh my God. Ow, man.
No, I'm
Well,
trying
hey,
to tell
thanks for
you.
stopping by, Glenn. I don't know where he went. Wow, he disappeared. Oh, there.
Here it is. Oh my God.
You weren't.
Oh my God. I am beat red. Listen, here is what I find. How about this? I'm going to
There's
lead
a
the way.
comment. Look, there's my buddy Jason. That's nice.
Okay. I had hoped Jason would let me lead the way by declaring what I find to be endearing about you. So if you'll let me praise you for a moment, please.
Okay.
Here is what I find endearing about you. I wrote a chapter. You don't have to give me the single screen. Jesus. Or are you trying to avoid showing yourself getting all teary-eyed? Come on.
That is so funny.
So here's what I find endearing about you. I wrote a chapter many years ago in a book called The Presentational Self. And it has been my opinion for years and still continues to be my opinion that more often than not, so we're talking about 51% of all cases or more, right? What do they say in courtrooms? A preponderance of the evidence, Your Honor. So more than 50% of all people, in lieu of presenting who it is they really are when they meet you, I don't mean you, I mean you, me, anybody, when people meet, they present not who they are, but rather who they want you to think they are. And you don't do that. And it is the most endearing thing in the world about you, because you admit not only who you've been, but you admit who it is you continue to be and who it is you are today, and your own humanness and your own vulnerability and your own trials and tribulations and struggles. And overall, can you present your humanness? And I'm telling you as your friend, as one of your newer friends, this has to be a primary trait that people love about you. You are real. Above all else, you are real. And I think you have a take me or leave me policy. And you don't need people to need you so much that you're willing to alter who it is you are in order to satisfy that need. Let me say it one more time. You do not need people's approval so much that you're willing to give up who it is you really are in order to obtain their lofty opinion or their worship or praise of you. That is a rare and wonderful trait, because it's quite common for people to give up who it is they really are to enlist the support of other people. And they'll go to great lengths to present whatever it takes in order to receive approval. And I want to see what some of the other guys have to say, but that is my primary.
And gals, there's some gals that came on. Tamara Thompson was on here.
You mean not everyone's a dude? I thought everyone was a dude. My bad.
I call everyone dude. What's up, Brian Hess? What's happening, dude?
So, hey, Brian, did you enjoy time in class?
Oh, that's right. Brian was there.
Brian came to class. I don't know how long he stayed because we had so many people in last night, but we had character actor extraordinaire Jim Beaver in our workshop. And this is, Jim's like me. He's one of those actors who, if you just say his name out in public, there are only a few people with the inside track that will know who Jim is. But the minute people look up the name Jim Beaver, people look and go, oh, that guy, because they know his face. But Jim was our guest in the workshop last night. Let's see what Glenn Caldwell says. And I assume this is regarding you, Ken. He inspires. I always leave his podcast feeling better than when I signed on. He's the real deal. I just said that about you, that you are real. Yeah. Ken inspired me to complete. You're going to have to tell me what hashtag 75 hard is. I don't know what that is.
75 hard is a program that Andy Frisella created. And you work out twice a day, 45 minutes each. One time has to be outside, no matter what, has to be outside. Holy crap, Joe Soto just signed on. I see you, Joe. What's happening, bro? And and you have to follow a diet. You have to drink a gallon of water every single day. You have to take a progress picture every single day. And you have to read 10 pages out of a self-help or a business book every single day for 75 days consecutively. And if you screw up one thing, you start all over back at day one. I completed 75 hard. My wife did as well. I dropped 30 pounds. She did too.
Wow.
Very close. It was insane, dude.
That is so not what I thought it was. I thought it was a program for erectile dysfunction.
The fact that you can do that. Well, thanks for stopping by, Glenn.
Are you going to get rid of me again? No. Hey, Brian, you never answered the question. Did you have a good time last night? Did you learn?
Oh yeah, he did. Yes, he did. You don't have the comments tab clicked over there, dude.
Oh, I do, but I'm waiting for what once upon a time was a former reliable host to be able to illuminate the comments and put them up on the screen. You're losing a step, baby.
I lost it.
Okay, got it. Oh, so he had a good time. Good. Hey, Brian, let me ask you, what was it you loved about the beginning of class? And we'll continue talking, but I am curious what it was about that spoke to you.
Do you know Dave Ferguson?
I do not, but I bet I'm about to.
I don't know him well yet. We're new friends. He's going to be on my show soon.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, hey, Dave, thanks for tuning in. And listen, if any
that
of you,
comment is why we all love Glenn.
Which comment? Oh, about being an erectile dysfunction program?
About your problem.
Hey, I'm still hanging in there at 61. I'm good to go. I'm grateful. He flows better than anyone I've met. He is always willing to help without asking for something in return. That is an accurate statement about Ken.
Thanks, Weldon.
Yes, it is. And he draws good people, because water, the saying in metaphysics is water seeks its own level. So if to know Ken is to know a sea of good people.
And that response is why we all Hey, Mr. Morshower.
Yes.
Question for you.
Oh, are we done praising you? Has the praise session ended already?
Did you share this out? That's a form of praise. Like, hey, I'm live right now with Ken Walls, all of my peeps.
Okay. Let me do that before my phone dies.
Well, you can open another tab.
I was watching Kyle Wilson. Oh, I guess I could do that, couldn't I?
Well,
all right. Well, then go to a single screen of you while I'm.
No, it's fine. We can watch you.
All right. Can you still see me up here as I share?
Yeah. Brian said, here, I'm going to tell you what Brian said. The word.
Okay, because I cannot see the screen right now. So go ahead.
The word of the week and digging in to that word the way that you do. You are an expert at human understanding, sir. Bravo.
Oh, wow. The word he's referring to, by the way, Ken, is the word harmony. And every month, not week, but every month, we have a separate word for the school. And this month's word was harmony, and it was not the musical version of it. It's where most people learn the word harmony, but actually we were talking about harmonizing with life. What do you do to provide the harmony is what we were talking about.
Yeah. I was there. Remember, I was in there on Monday.
Yes.
I was there Monday for that discussion, actually.
Good. I've managed to get to my Facebook page. So I will.
Evidence there is a God. See?
Which one is evidence that there is a God?
That you got to your Facebook.
Oh, that sounds like a Joe Ingram comment.
I'm just playing.
Oh, that's a Ken Walls comment. Got it. That's funny.
Oh my God.
Okay, so did you send it live to my?
No, you just go to my page and it'll be on there.
I know. I am on your page. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go to Ken Walls.
Oh, go to your page and then forward it. Oh my God.
Got it. And no, share. You don't forward. Just click that share button. Question for Ken. Colin is asking me, how much did 75 hard do for you mentally aside from the obvious physical effects? You know what, Colin? That's actually a great question. 75 hard completely changed me mentally because and I have a question for you. Did you do it, Colin? Have you done it? But for me, it like if you've never gone 75 days working out every single day, twice a day, 45 minutes. I mean, if it's pouring down rain or snowing or blowing snow, or it does not matter. You have to go outside and do at least one workout. What happened? If you've never gone. Oh, I hear myself. 75 days in a row, working out twice a day, following a diet. And the first 4 days, I had no idea what that meant. I just thought it meant like eat way less than you normally do. And till I called my buddy up and Brad Modrich, and I said, Brad, I hate 75 hard. I hate you for recommending it. I hate Andy Frisella for creating it. And I hate Brian Hess for doing it too and convincing me. I hate everybody right now. And he said, why? I said, because I'm starving and I'm ready to eat my desk. I'm starving. And he's like, dude, if you're starving, you're doing it wrong. You should not be starving. I hear
sorry,
I hate
Ken.
75 hard. I hate you. He says, I have not done it, but I've seen some people posting about it, and I have yet to see anything negative. So, you know, the only thing for me was I was like, this is bullcrap, man. I am starving. And my buddy Brad Modrich is like, dude, you're doing it wrong, man. You're not supposed to be starving. You're supposed to, he goes, when you're working out at this level of intensity twice a day. I mean, there were days I was burning 1,500 calories. It was crazy. And when you're working out at that intensity, you're supposed to increase your calories. And here I was decreasing my caloric caloric intake. Is that how you say it?
Caloric.
Caloric.
Not caloric.
Well, caloric works too.
Well, just like my buddy from Kentucky who thinks that squid should be called calamari. He's like, hey, buddy, you want to get some calamari before we eat our steak? I'm like, no, but I would like a new friend.
Oh, my God.
Calamari.
I know better than that. It's calamar. So, you know, 75 hard, though, honestly, is life changing. I mean, it is life changing. It made me realize that there is apps after, and this is after completing it, but honestly, along the way, I mean, at day 45, I don't know, somewhere around the midway point, I was like, oh my God, I am halfway through this. And let me tell you something. We drove from Ohio to Florida to go on vacation. We drove to the Panhandle. We went down to Destin to go on a 4 or 5 day vacation. And on the way down,
that sounds like it was destined to be a great vacation.
I think that, yeah. That might be what, I don't know why it's named that, but it was a great vacation. But so hey, I see Janica Morton in here. Isn't she in your school?
Janica? I don't, are you talking about Danica?
I thought it said Janica. I don't know. I just saw something pop up on the back.
Yeah, Danica is a friend of mine who lives in the Fort Worth area, but she's not actively involved with our school. But I know her from the thespian community of Northeast Texas.
What does thespian mean?
Performing artist.
Got it. Okay, got it. So
it has 2 meanings. Would you like to know the second meaning of thespian?
Yes.
It's when you get into rural USA and you ask where are the kids, and they say, oh, they peeing out in the backyard instead of using the restroom. They peeing. It's almost spelled the same way.
Oh my God. So, all right, listen, 75 hard to finish that up. 75 hard is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And Colin asked me, what did it do for me mentally, aside from the obvious physical effects? What it did for me mentally was it made me realize on a level deeper than I've ever experienced in my entire life. It made me realize that I could literally do anything. And most of the time I felt like I could run through a brick wall. It's so it's life-changing. That's why I only look 25 now, dude.
You look great, man. You do. You're the first person who has inspired me to get rid of the old Farrah Fawcett poster when she's scantily clad that I had from the time I was a teenager and still to this day keep it over my bed. And I've replaced it with a photo of Ken Walls. Nothing could get me to pull Farrah off the wall, including her own death.
I'll bet Carolyn loves that.
She accepts me for who I am. What can I say? But even Farrah's death, I still, Farrah Fawcett died the same day Michael Jackson did. Did you know that? Not even on the year? Not even the same anniversary, the same day.
In the same year?
Here's a trivia question. And guess who else did? Yes, same day, same year. And guess who? Look it up. Guess who? And I'm not in here spewing nonsense.
Dude,
if I tell you that up, look it up. And here's who else passed away on that same day. Johnny Carson's sidekick, Ed McMahon.
What?
Those three well-known people
all died on the same exact day.
Yes, sir.
Same year.
Stranger things have happened than that, believe me.
Well, like what?
Well, there's all sorts of strange things that have happened. Look at what's going on in the world right now. I think that qualifies as strange. I mean, I you know what I'm doing tonight? This true story. I'm going in to empty my building. Tonight's the night.
Are you really?
I'm very emotional about it. Not a little bit. This is no joke. Our acting workshop, I'm going in it to take what is left. My business partner already cleaned everything out that was there that was his, and it was mostly his because I only subleased from him 2 days a week. And so what's left of the acting workshop are my personal goods. And that's been my love for 5+ years. If you had told me 7 weeks ago that you just pulled the door shut on the last class you will be teaching in this building, I would have thought if that's true, that means something happened to me in terms of an accident, if that's true. I never had any idea that I would be teaching, that I would be getting ready to meet you. I mean, look at how life surprises us. You're getting ready to meet a guy named Ken Walls. You don't know who he is, but he's a dude that lives in Ohio. He's going to enter your life and bless your life immeasurably. You're going to move from like to love very quickly because of who he is. You guys will be really, really close buds before the two of you will ever physically meet. You will already care a great deal about him. He's going to help you get online so that your course can move from a physical place to being an online format. And then 7 weeks from tonight, you're going to go and take what's left of your stuff out of the building and move out. I would have said that cannot happen. That's impossible. And life said, hey, really? Watch this. So I sometimes hold the opinion that what's coming down the pike might be too heavy for all of us. And I'm going to open this up for an opinion for people that are listening. I happen to think it is God's grace to give us life in dosages. I really believe that, because if, for example, you were told what the whole next year would include that's going to be hard to handle. And you were told all of it at once. There's going to be this loss and 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 this hurt and this pain and this ending of the relationship. Your income will do that. And if it were bad news, and this isn't even talking about the good news. Obviously, we have a lot of good news.
Yeah.
But I think there's a limit to what someone can take all at once. So fortunately, life doles it out to us a little bit at a time.
Hey, Carrie Graves is offering to help you.
You need any help getting your stuff, let me know. I have a truck. Carrie, I will call you if I do, bud, because what we're doing is picking up not only my personal stuff, which is not an extensive list, but the thing I could need help with is chairs, because the chairs were left for us. We'll figure that out. But my point is that I think the heavens are very generous in doling out grace. I love Brian's talking about grace.
Yeah.
This is a demonstration of grace. I think it is the gift of grace that we don't have to handle every bit of challenge all in one dosage. So we get a challenging period covered, and then we have a new challenge revealed, and we sort of handle things on a case-by-case basis. I call that the grace of life.
Yeah. You know, I like, to your point.
Yes.
Had that been revealed to those
How
three,
about that? Did you see that about the 3 who died?
Look at that. Had that been revealed to those three, I like that. And it's also a reminder that no matter what life throws at you, this is inevitable. This right here, it's inevitable. It's all going to happen. It's going to happen to every single person on this planet. Nobody gets out of here alive. So here's what I have to say about it. I think there are a lot of people who need to build a bridge and get over themselves.
Oh, beautifully said.
I really do. And that's probably most people, because what we do as human beings is we allow our ego, which I think is a great acronym for edging God out. We allow our ego to get in the way and prevent us from actually living. You've gone out and had an illustrious career, an unbelievable career in movies and television, and achieved things that most people stare at the TV watching you and other actors and actresses. And Chelsea Scott says, I'll help Dad with the chairs if you need help, if you need Glenn.
Yeah, and I'm kind of Chelsea's adopted dad, so she's got 2 dads to help. Sweetheart, thank you for that. I will let you guys know. I have to see how many chairs we're dealing with and how well they will load up. We're taking 2 cars over there, so I'll let you know. But thank you for the offer.
That's awesome. So Brian Hess says, one of my favorite tips for people is to constantly realize that you're just not that important. I agree. However, and Glenn, I want to hear your opinion on this. I agree. However, I don't think that's the real problem. I think that people don't really understand how important they truly are. Yeah. And so as a result, they try to make up with it with their ego, creating these unnecessary conflicts, which has all of this insecurity lined in there, and it wreaks havoc in their lives. That's my personal opinion. What say ye, Mr. Morshower?
We're going to have to be careful to not open up so many pop-up windows that we sort of do a half-assed job of covering each one before we move on to the next. Because no, you and I have been known to be bombarded by so many thought windows, and we have so much to say about each one of them, which is why I think we're a great partnership as friends, and also to do live feeds and to do a talk show together and so forth. But let me say something that's rather uncomfortable to hear. But it's on the subject of, you mentioned, are you reading that for us?
I'm reading it. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going. Don't stop.
So, okay. So for example, here's an uncomfortable thing to say, but I'll say it anyway, because it's truth, and the thing is, life includes things that are uncomfortable. Back on September the 11th, right? Many, many years ago, I want to go back to I'm going to go back. I'm going to rewind the clock, and I want to rewind the clock to 6 a.m. New York time. Maybe, you know what? Maybe even 7. Let's make it 7 o'clock. Approximately 2 hours before the World Trade Center was hit.
Yep.
The first one. 2 hours before that, Ken, and you and I have never had this thought, but we had such a great conversation earlier today, and we always do. But I have not proposed this thought to you yet. 2 hours before, if you could have interviewed all of the people in that scenario who lost their lives, and specifically asked the ones who jumped to their own deaths, if you had asked, and I'm not being morose here, I'm actually being quite caring and compassionate.
Yeah.
But if you had asked them at 7 a.m., question, seems out of the blue, but question, would you ever jump off of the top of a building and end your own life? Would you ever do that? I'll promise you that you would have a very close percentage to 100%, if not 100, that said absolutely not. Now, you may have those who have had suicidal tendencies that may have said, I might have, or I've thought about it. I mean, you never know. But the point is, the vast majority, I don't want to pretend to know what the percentage is, but I know it would have been the vast majority who would have said no. And you don't give them the details.
Yeah.
You just propose a question of, would you ever, from an elevated floor, from a 90th floor of an elevated high rise, or even from your workplace, would you ever just knock out a window and jump off the building? The answer would be emphatically and immediately no.
No
and
way.
yet, not 2 years later, not 2 months later, but 2 hours after the no that would have inevitably been the answer to that question, 2 hours later, that's exactly what they are doing. Because life was down to 2 choices. You either die by fire or you jump. There were no other options. Because in that scenario,
wow,
all other options had been removed, and survival was not among the options. So now you're choosing one of 2. So what this teaches me when I consider such a question is that the answer to almost every question, the answer is depends.
Wow.
Depends. And don't be so quick to think you know the exact answer, because as more information is revealed, we may very well change our mind. So whatever is going on with us, we have to know that our opinions are highly under the influence of the life we're currently living.
That's absolutely the truth, man.
Right, but it's not necessarily the answer. It is the circumstantial answer.
It's, you know, you said something, I've said this before, you know, I can read a book, right? That I could go pick up a book off one of my shelves and start reading it today that maybe I read 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And there is a 99% chance that there's going to be a lot different meaning in that book to me, because I'm not the same person I was.
Because the reader has changed.
Right. And so it's the same with, you know, back when I was a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old kid going to the drugstore, maybe lifting a pack of gum here and there. And I did that. Right. I'm not proud of it.
But I me from your show right now, please.
Yes. Thanks for stopping by, Glenn. Oh, he's back. No, but I did stupid things that I'm not proud of, but like, I'm not that person today. And I couldn't bear even thinking about doing anything like that. But look, man, if a pack of gum was going to save the lives of my family and I had no other option, I don't know, man. I probably would lift a pack of gum. I don't know. I don't know, you know, because you're right. The circumstances kind of dictate what. Oh my God. Carrie just said, I didn't know that
200 people jumped. I looked over and saw that comment.
There. Hey, let's say hi to Janelle. Can you say hi to Janelle Grigo? She is such a sweet lady.
Well, Hello, Janelle.
Look at her face. Just look at the way she glows.
And do you pronounce it Griego or Griego?
That's a great question.
It's probably Griego.
It probably is.
Hatfield Griego.
I do want to read Jeffrey Wolf's comment because this is powerful. Like when I was in college, had a fun dinner with my parents and almost didn't go out to my study group to shoot pool and relax. It was a Friday. My mom encouraged me to go. When I got home after 2 a.m., my dad told me my mom had died of a massive heart attack. Had no idea that was coming. Always grateful for our last evening together. Was amazing.
Yeah. Again, part of the grace discussion. He's just grateful that he had that wonderful last evening.
Yeah.
Has Glenn read Beyond Positive Thinking? No, but I should have written it because
no, dude, listen, man. No kidding. I'm sending this book to you.
Okay.
Will you read it?
If you send it to me, I will.
Did I just hear a dog bark? Was that your dog?
No, that might have been my personality barking over the opportunity to be on your show and how exciting it is for me.
This isn't my show. This is just you and I talking.
Oh, is it ours? It's ours tonight. It's ours in the audience.
I mean, it's kind of mine, but
I know that I would be attracted to that book, Brian, because I am always looking to put the positive spin on things, only because that is not about being in denial, but rather about basically having the best available experience of whatever life is doling out, right? To find in it, what can I do with it? How can I not drown in this? You know, there's so many things that come up that present themselves, and I want to make sure that I was just going to say something like that, but write your own script. I like to write my own script relative to what's going on.
It's funny though that I know how your brain works, and I literally opened this book up to chapter 5, and that's the title. I think you would really dig this book, man. So I'll send you the book.
So Ken, here's one of the reasons I would hold and do hold the strong desire / prayer / vision for our brothers and sisters in the world of all kinds, not just here in this country, but all over the world. We're all God's kids. And we're all. So
you're not excluding any countries at all?
No.
I'm kidding.
No, I know you are, but I'm just not. I'm not an elitist. And I am a proud American, but I'm not a stupid American.
Amen, dude.
I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to have been born and raised here. But I believe the song was "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." The song wasn't "He's Got the United States in His Hands." No. You know, and I don't happen to believe that God plays favorites with the United States.
No, neither do I.
I don't think we're God's favorite country. I think, Hot Pocket. That's funny. Do you get that reference? Do you know what that is?
I don't. Hold it. I do.
Hot Pocket.
No, I don't.
It's a Jim Gaffigan reference. And I also look a bit like Jim Gaffigan. So he just does this comedy routine where he talks about Hot Pocket. It's very funny. It's very, very funny. But I do believe we're all connected. And what I would root for is for people to really, 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 for once and for all, finally grasp that they are the possessors of their own answers. I am not the possessor of their answers. They are. And that wisdom is contained within them, and to learn to trust it and not lean heavily on things outside of themselves. I mean, and all it takes is to be still and check in with you. Check in with you. And when you're done with that, check in with you some more.
Yeah.
Listen to your gut. What is your gut telling you? Let me ask the audience this. Have you ever met someone and for whatever reason, they haven't really even done anything. They've just been there. Maybe you just shook hands. You've been with them 2 minutes, and everything about the experience is green lit. And you feel like you've known them forever. We've all heard that saying where you go, God, I feel like I've known you for so many years. Yes, because that experience is being green lit. Their humanity is being green lit. Your soul wants to interact. A dance awaits you both. That's why we have that feeling. Also, the polar opposite, Ken, is have you or any of our folks here listening tonight, have any of you ever met someone and instantly got a big no?
Yep.
We all have. We've all walked into rooms and felt immediately uncomfortable when there was no evidence as to why.
Yeah.
That's what we need to listen to.
I agree.
Well, we're not supposed to stop and go, well, I know I'm feeling uncomfortable. I think I'll spend the next 30 minutes trying to evaluate using my scientific mind to see if I can establish why it might be that I'm feeling uncomfortable. Right. Because during the 30 minutes, it can cost you your friggin' life.
Yes, it can.
Might be that you're getting a warning sign, and the warning sign is saying this: leave.
Leave.
It's a one-word impulse. Get out. We don't want you in here, meaning the committee within you. That committee within is saying, we don't want to be here, Glenn. Will you please escort us out of the building? And in doing so, you will protect yourself. Leave. And unfortunately, we don't have this program brought to the attention of our young people. And instead, we're forcing them to memorize the 50 state capitals, which is how, by the way, I knew that the capital of Michigan was Lansing. But that's the only time I've needed that information in the last 45 years. And we need information from our gut every day of our lives.
Hey, did you know that the capital of Michigan is Lansing?
I knew that because I was taught the state capitals in school. But my point is that we view our whispers and we view our gut feeling. I mean, it's not like that's just some made up term. We say, yeah, I kind of had a gut feeling about that. No, you didn't kind of have a gut feeling. You had an actual gut feeling. It paid you a visit. It came to give you information, which, by the way, you ignored. And now you're saying the 3 words that we always say when we ignore the wisdom of our gut. You know what the 3 words are?
No.
The 3 words are, I knew it. I knew it. And the answer is, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yep.
You knew it and you ignored it. So the wisest helper of all time knocked on your door and said, let me help you through this. And you didn't open the door to it. And that can be very costly, up to and including, Ken, costing you your actual physical life, because it will even give you life and death warnings.
Yep.
It's capable of doing that, but it only responds heavily to those that open the door. That's all it comes down to it. If you're not a practitioner of paying attention to your inner wisdom, then after a while it goes, you know what? It doesn't get its feelings hurt. Believe me, it's too mature for that. It's not an emotional child. But what it does do is it looks up and it goes, you know what? It's real clear to me that you don't value me. It's real clear to me that you pay no attention to the love I have for you and for the guidance and health and care that I come to gift you with. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to hold back. What I am going to do is be very still and just know this. I'm here on your doorstep when you need me.
Yeah.
I believe that.
And I think to your point though, and I look, to your point.
I like that. I knew it and I blew it.
Oh yeah. And that Glenn brings up a great point. And that is, there are many times in our lives, I believe, and it's to varying degrees based on the person, whether they're programmed to be a victim, because a lot of people are programmed to be a victim. They literally set up every single step of their lives unconsciously to make sure that and I'm guilty of it. So, I mean, I've done it myself where I set myself up, all of the circumstances, and I'm like, it happens to me every time. I end up getting screwed. And so I set myself up to get screwed over. And I set myself, there's some dude that hit me up, said he needed propane or something, asked me for $100. I barely know this guy. He was a friend of mine on Facebook, and he's like, and it's 11 o'clock on a Friday night or something. And I'm like, you know what? And he's like, I'll give it back to you on Monday or Tuesday. My radar was going, deet, deet, deet. No, he's not, you know, I knew it. I just knew, I knew. But what did I do? I sent him the $100 anyway, because.
Well, he didn't clarify. He's not a liar, Ken, because he didn't clarify what year. He said he was going to give it back on a Monday or Tuesday.
That's true. It could be 10.
I think it'd be really funny if 8 years from now he showed up at your door, gave you $100, and you looked and went, "Son of a gun, it's Monday." He kept his word.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's not the way it worked out. And you know, when I hit him up and I said, "Hey man, that wasn't a loan, by the way." And this thing fell through and it didn't, you know. But here's the thing. I knew when I did it. I knew when I did it that it was gone. It was a gift. It wasn't a loan. I knew that. We don't trust our intuition. We don't trust our gut. And here is the very best.
Some of us do. Some of us do.
That book right there by Jack Canfield, The Success Principles, is powerful. The very first principle he writes about in this book, chapter number 1, very first one, take 100% responsibility for your life. Everything. And he goes into detail. You know, you see the red lights, you know, or the red flags, you see all the signs when what you were just saying, you see them, but we choose to ignore them.
Right.
We don't pay attention to them.
Well, the ignoring of them produces a consequence, just as saying yes to them produces a consequence. One is a desirable consequence. The other one is a less than desirable. Can you highlight, let's see, more like when hell freezes over. That's funny. Can you highlight Colin Michael Murphy's comment? And I want to read this one. I used to play cards for a living and have gone back to that much more since quarantine has started. There's a lot of places where the math says one thing and my gut says another. Which do you trust? A microcosm of life in a way. Colin, I am qualified to answer that because I made my living playing cards for about 10 years between my mid-20s and mid-30s. And I was already an actor at that time and had been for a number of years. But I found out that because an actor's life has a lot of downtime, I discovered that I had quite the knack for cards and started playing Texas Hold'em, and then increased in the limits that I played for, where I was now playing as a living. And it was very, very serious for me. And I would say that within that game, I don't play anymore. And I will tell you why I don't play anymore, which has no comment on you. But I want to be transparent in all of these shows that we do. I stopped not because it was bad for me in the profit margin. I stopped because I discovered that for me, and I'm only talking about for me, I was losing while winning. And let me explain that. I was winning monetarily, and I had a great relationship with poker for many years. Not any other forms of gaming. Those were all futureless for me. I turned out that I would lose way more than I won. Still fun, love to play craps, still enjoy playing craps from time to time, but that there was certainly no financial future in those games, and that it was purely entertainment for me and nothing more. And never became an addiction. It was just something that from time to time I really enjoyed. And it brought me a lot of enjoyment over the years. But poker was different. Poker was not about enjoyment. Poker was about income. Poker was about living. And I was beating the snot out of the game for a really long time. That's the God's honest truth. And everyone that knew me knew that, because I was able to maintain my emotional composure. I had a rock solid understanding of math. And probably the most important thing was my ability to read other human beings. And it is known in the poker world that in order to play effectively and professionally and efficiently and for profit, you must play the player and not just the cards. You know that as well as I do. So this produced a very good financial outcome for me. However, after years of doing it, I realized that I was playing a game that I don't play in my personal life called win-lose. You know, there are only 4 exchanges from us to another person, and all of us fall into one of 4 categories. We either play for life win-win, which is the game that Ken and I play with each other. Win-win, you win, I win. We both win. We win together, and it's beautiful. Then there's the prototype that plays win-lose. That means I play to win, but my win will come at the expense of your loss. That is what poker is. That's not just an opinion. That's what poker is. And if it weren't that, you wouldn't have profits. You do need to at least understand that when you have chips, those chips used to belong to somebody else. That doesn't mean that people who play poker are bad. I gave it 10 very devoted years of my life, even a little more than 10. But the point is, I looked at all this money that I was going to cash in at the end of the night at the window, and I didn't like how I had obtained it. I also knew that I was playing an active role in the lives of those people who were driving back home feeling a big empty hole in their pocket, which was contrary to my soul's desire. My soul's desire was to bolster people, not hurt people. I'm only talking, and this is how I opened this whole discussion, about me. I do not hold that opinion for you or for anybody else. So I'm not preaching. I'm explaining to you why it is I no longer play. I no longer play because when I cross the path of another, I will have left a contribution behind and not a hole in their pocket. That's not what I'm there to do. I'm not there to deceive people. I'm not there to bluff people. I'm not there to trick people. I don't want that in my life. And so I will tell you that the day I stopped playing cards is the day my life caught on fire for the better. And for me, that's a personal honoring of my code within. And if I got carried away with that more than you thought, I will tell you this, that while you were playing, you mix equal parts of math and you mix that with equal parts of intuition. Follow the math for sure, because the math never lies. Math never lies. People do.
Yeah.
So if you watch what people are doing. You'll make a fortune off of watching people swallow when they lie. That's a big one. I talked with you about that yesterday, Ken.
Yeah.
That a lot of people try to look and find the truth in someone's eye. Find it in their Adam's apple. Because a lot of times the moment they release the chips and then go like this, watch my throat. If you see that little moment, more often than not, they're telling a lie.
Yeah.
They know they're bluffing. And anyway, so while you're at it, I say the best of luck to you. And anyway, hopefully what I said did not seem overly sensitive to you, but that's how I felt. What does this say?
Well, I understood while I always understood the fact that my chips come from someone else, I genuinely never looked at it that way. Something I knew, but I didn't know. One more reason I truly appreciate your perspective.
Yeah.
That's
well,
great.
It's legal, but it disagreed with me. And I believed in a higher power that said, if you will release this thing that you do so well at, Glenn, which I did. I mean, I'm not lying about that. I did very, very well. However, if you will give that up and say yes to what you've really been chosen to express, which is love, just say yes to love. No other questions. Just say yes to love. And I did. And I will promise you, the money you will lose by stopping playing poker, that will be increased tenfold or more in your personal life. And I've never worked this much in my life as an actor. And technically, by age 60, and I'm 61 now, it is supposed to have slowed way down.
Really?
And my response to that, yes, my response to that would be, according to who? Who makes the rules? Who makes the rules?
And so now here, how long you've been on The Resident now for all 3 seasons?
Yes, all 3.
That's incredible.
But the point is, our faith, and this is not even a religious statement, but our faith, meaning the beliefs we hold about life, our beliefs can be so big that they absolutely obliterate common beliefs of what's true in life.
Right.
Right. It creates an override is what I'm saying. So sorry, Ken, that took a while, but man, he mentioned poker, poker. And I just came to life because
Look what he's.
oh, now I feel like a jerk.
Oh, you
No,
stole somebody else's rent money. Way to go, Colin. I'm just kidding.
and now I feel like I may have stolen Colin's rent money,
No, I mean, look, I believe in I believe in an abundant universe. I believe there's enough to go around. Everybody on this planet could be worth millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. I believe that having a lack mentality, having is where a lot of people get stuck. I was and the not so fine 9 that you talk about, and I would love if you briefly went over those again. With that, I mean, because if you go into the whole thing, we'll be on here.
After that diatribe I just left, I love that you inserted the word briefly.
No, it has nothing.
You even took a beat. It was like,
bye.
I'd love it if you went into that briefly.
No, I've seen both versions. You have a brief version and you have a very detailed version. I've heard.
Hey, I don't have the nickname Vincent Verbose for nothing, my friend. Larry Long-Winded and Vincent Verbose.
Colin, that's awesome, man. I love that he just said that.
This is why I listen to you guys. I hope I'm smart enough to realize my perspective isn't the only. Isn't that true, Colin, for all of us?
Man,
isn't that true? That's why I said so many times, Ralph knows me from playing craps. He says, come pop on hard A. That's funny.
I don't even know what that means.
It's a long discussion. It's a private language between crap players. But that's why I said multiple times, Colin, that's why I said, this is just my feeling.
Right.
And I was not preaching. I have found it to be true that when we tap into the deepest yearnings of our soul, like really answer the question, what am I here to do? During my ever so brief dance, because look, even if you live to be 100, it's a relatively brief visit to this earth. And while I'm here, and we can't do anything about the way we've already spent it. So
that's right.
Our focus is not about that. It's about what's left. So from this point forward, how do I wish to spend the time that I'm gifted to spend here? And I wanted to spend it being in synchronicity with the yearnings of my soul and always being a practitioner of love, here to assist people and not to crush them.
And I might add that along the way, I just have to say this, man, your wife, I get to call her Care.
I know her name. She's Carolyn.
Yes.
Carolyn.
She is always right there with you. She's always she tolerates you getting on these long live streams. She really does. And you get on, we get on here together, and she's very supportive. She's an amazing woman. And you recognize that too. And I see it all the time. Because you and I actually, believe it or not, everybody, we talk a lot on just phone calls too.
And then sometimes we allow our phone calls to go public, which is really all this is. You know, that's it. It's an extension of our private calls.
It really kind of is, man. It's true.
And I will just say that's Ken, that's got a lot to do with the time that you met me during, because you met me after the virus, right? After it started. And everything was shut down, which means Carol and I are together more now than we've ever been. And it turns out we get along great, but I travel a lot.
I know.
I'm on the road a lot. And so, but I think in order to go the distance with someone, I think there are a combination of things. And one of them is you have to be willing to push through storms. Yes, Carrie. Yes, the new picture of Ken above our bed.
Oh, that is so funny.
She ain't even bothered by it. She's very secure. And you should see what he's dressed in.
Oh, my God.
Scary.
That is so funny.
No, but look, if every time somebody does something that upsets us, we run for the hills, you know what's going to happen. You're going to run out of people.
Yeah.
You're going to run out of people, because if you're with a person long enough, they invariably will do something to disappoint you. And you know how we know this is true? Because we can't even keep from disappointing ourselves.
You know, I will be incredibly disappointed if in the next 15 minutes we don't all get to hear about the not so fine nine, although Weldon referred to it as the divine nine, which is kind of cool too. But the not so fine nine.
Well, I only labeled them the not so fine is because they were given to us and they're not fine at all.
Oh, that's right.
So the divine nine, let me explain, Weldon. The divine nine would be the rewrites of the not so fine nine.
Yeah.
Because what we were told, they really are not so fine. There's nothing divine about them. They were awful lies. So I love the divine nine, and maybe I'll create a new list, which are the re-scripted versions, right? The mental rewrites of the not so fine nine, and will in fact take your suggestion and call them the divine nine.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a great game plan, is to move from the not so fine to the divine. Oh, that's beautiful.
I like that, actually.
I love that. Thank you.
Dude, that could be a short that could be a little book, man. That
could not so fine to the divine.
Oh,
right.
Love that. So would you
do you want to name one of them that you want me to?
No, I want you to cover all of them.
How about the first one on the list, which is age is wisdom? That's a lie.
Okay, these so the not so fine nine are
there are not only 9, by the way. I've got a list of about 20 of them, but I use some more than others to create the list. So you'll have to count as I go, because I don't go in any certain order.
So what'd you say the first one is?
Age is wisdom.
Oh, age is wisdom, yeah.
And that's a lie, because age alone never made anyone wise in history.
Right.
The only thing that makes people wise is one thing: paying attention.
That's right.
Paying attention is how you keep from suffering from idiocy. If you don't pay attention, you will be idiotic much of the time. It's not a judgment. It just means that you're not learning from what's showing up in life. And I think that is a huge mistake, right? The bigger mistake of making a mistake is not learning the lesson.
Yep.
So age is not wisdom. And we can prove this because haven't you all known someone that was in their 20s and they were friggin' brilliant? We even have
Mary Lynn Carter.
We have a term reserved for those people. It's called old soul. We look and we have this warm feeling in our hearts and we go, wow, you are such an old soul. That does not mean you look like an old turtle, right? It has nothing to do with appearance. It's the appearance of your soul, not your face. Someone says you're an old soul, that doesn't mean you look ancient. It just means you have a wisdom that seems to be beyond your years. Wait a minute. Experience is wisdom. I'm with you, but you have to learn from the experience. That's why I said you have to pay attention. So age alone, the saying, Colin, is age is wisdom. Age isn't what brings about the wisdom. That's my point. Paying attention is wisdom. Right. And so then we move on to I'll believe it when I see it, which I list. I'm not reading from a list. I've got them all in my head. And these are just things that we were told. All of us were told. There's no exception. We've all been told this. We've been told it many times. Yep. When in fact, the opposite is what's true, which is that you'll see it when you believe it, not the other way around. Right? That's reserved for doubters. When people say, well, I'll believe it when I see it, it means show it to me first and then I'll decide if it's so.
Right.
Right. So it is possible to hold faith in things unseen. And by holding that faith, that's how they're created to be. Yep. Trust me, every high rise in every major city that's built started with a vision. Nobody says, show me the high rise first and then I'll believe in high rises. Right. So that appears in the form of a vision and then a template and then ultimately a blueprint or a construction plan. and then workers and materials, and eventually over time we have the high rise.
So that's what you're saying is you have to see it. You have to see it up here first.
Or I'll see it meaning in the manifest world, in the realm of manifestation, I'll see it on the actual playing field of life if I believe it.
Right.
Up here.
Right.
So, and we've seen people will themselves back from medical calamities that a lot of people said they would never recover from. The beautiful thing is they were the one who held on to the belief that recovery was available to them.
Yep.
Despite all of the doubters that surrounded them. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, when I worked with him, one of his top 5 teachings, in fact, I think it's number 1. I believe it's number 1 on his list. He says, ignore the naysayers. So he was unwilling to subject his opinion of life and or his opinion of people and or his opinion of himself. He wasn't willing to subject that to other people's approval. So I'll answer that in a minute. I'm not going to do all of these, Ken, because it just takes too long. And I like.
Hey, just rattle a few off. Don't explain.
Okay, how about this? How about this? It's too good to be true.
Too good to be true. Give me another one.
So all that means, I got to say this about that, which is that means we only think that fantasies are what are true.
Okay, what's the next one?
So the next one would be. I'm trying to limit this. So too good to be true. How about this? Time heals all wounds. Really? Really? Have you ever been to a family reunion?
Right.
Right. So the only thing that heals wounds is forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with time.
That's right.
Right. Forgiveness is what heals.
Yep. It's true.
And that, you know what, there's, how about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt you. Another lie. Words hurt immeasurably.
Worse than sticks and stones.
Yes. So it was a massive lie. And not only do they hurt the people they are said to, they actually do tremendous injury to the sayer.
Yep.
The person off of whose tongue they roll.
It's true.
It is really problematic. So it goes on and on. If you ever want to hear me do this, come to an event sometime and you'll hear more.
Well, Weldon said he went through and wrote a bunch of them down. So I think that they're brilliant. And to your point about, that it hurts the person spewing the venom.
Yes.
Right. So many people, and it's running rampant on Facebook and, with just, I got to tell you, I literally despise election years because of the division, man. People just no, Republicans are right. No, the Democrats are right. And it's just this freaking bullshit battle. And pardon my language, if it bothers you, you're on the wrong stream. But this of who's right and who's wrong. And it's like there's so much division, and we listen to the media. We listen to the media's input. We listen to, 52 years of parents and teachers and the environment we were brought up in. We listen to all of that. We're playing those tapes over and over and over. Well, my granddad was a Democrat, or my mom was a Republican, so they all said this, and so we're playing those same tapes. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. Do you know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is, by the way?
I've only heard the name, but I don't know.
Dude, he is brilliant. The guy is absolutely brilliant. And he talks about that the average human being, and this is this is not a secret of his. The average human being has 60,000+ thoughts per day. And they've done this scientific research. I don't know how they research thoughts, but they've done this research and determined that 90% of the thoughts that we had today are the same exact thoughts that we had yesterday.
And the day before, and the day before that.
The day before.
And the month before. And
yeah, and they found out that the tapes that we're playing in our head right? Because we're replaying the same tapes over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Well, human beings have a tendency of, and it doesn't make anyone bad or inaccurate or whatever. It's everybody does this. We embellish those thoughts. We blow them out of proportion. And so 50+% of the stories we're telling ourselves on a daily basis are based in lies. It's a lie. We're making it up. It's not even true. So we're walking around on this planet living in the past based on a bunch of lies.
So can I add one piggyback thought to that?
Yes.
It's a simple one. The thought is the lie. The speaking it is the fertilizer to the lie.
Yeah, it is.
So the more we recite the lie, the bigger the condition grows.
It does, man. And it's why, it's why I preach this, man. I like learn how to shut the front door.
Very, very carefully executed, my friend. My well-spoken younger brother. Well done.
Shut the door, shut everything down and go inside, man. Learn how to do your own. When I say do your own research, know this. When I'm talking about this, when I'm talking about your well-being, your existence on this planet, stop looking out there, man. It's not out there. That's all a bunch of bullshit out there. I don't care where you're getting your information from. I don't care how accurate you think it is. I read it on CNN. I read it on Fox News. I heard it on there. I heard it over there. I don't care. How about this? Shut it all off. Go to a dark room. Go somewhere. Sit Indian style. Sit with your feet planted flat on the ground. Learn how to breathe and slow your mind down. Dr. Wayne Dyer said that there is magic. The magic in music is the silence between the notes.
Yes.
Right? The magic, the beauty that we hear in music is that's why. And I remember when you and I first met, I said, hey, I know what a dramatic pause is. And that's about all I know, right? But the silence between our thoughts, that's where God exists. That's where all the answers exist. And we're out here filling all the voided space that we have in our lives. Oh, I gotta have look, I cannot drive in a car with the radio on. I can't. If I'm riding with somebody else, I don't care if it is the president. I'd be like, dude, you need to turn that shit off or I'm getting out. Like, I can't do it. We're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Texas. You can't get out. Pull the car over. I'm getting out. Either turn the radio off or I'm getting out. I can't take that. Let's have a conversation. Let's communicate. I cannot listen to that crap. I can't do it, man. It makes me crazy.
I cannot recommend highly enough. I'm with you on the same page. It's almost an identical page, but I so believe in going in, turning the lights out, getting quiet. Yes or no on the lotus position. You can assume the lotus position, but get into a place that feels meditatively soothing and then turn on the Ken and Glenn show.
With a guy named Scott.
So here is another one on that list that just said, yeah, you got to mention this one. Because I think it's my least favorite. I think it's the least fine of the not so fine 9.
Wow.
And that's this one. And there's not a person here tonight that hasn't heard it. Don't get your hopes up. Really? Really, mom and dad? Really, society? Really, grandma and grandpa? Okay, let me just make sure I understand this because I'm 9. I'm 9 years old. I just want to make sure I understand this bit of life coaching. So the answer is to have my hopes in the gutter. Okay, got it. Hopes in the gutter. Good. And the reason that
dreams come true.
And this is why it's taught. Because at least if you keep your hopes in the gutter, you get to be right. It's a terrible teaching. It's one of the worst teachings in the world. Don't get your hopes up. The reason it is taught is the same. I believe this. I started surveying my audiences in my extra mile presentations, and I got an echo that evidenced the fact that, yes, people tend to agree with this, that the reason we are taught not to get our hopes up is so that we won't be hurt. Being hurt's part of life. It is not a disastrous thing to be hurt. We learn from it. But I got to tell you, there's going to be a whole lot more damage to our lives if we succumb to the belief that we're not to get our hopes up. Man, that is colossally bad. I'm even going to label that one, Ken. I'm going to label that one criminal.
We have to come up.
That one is criminally irresponsible to tell another human being not to get their hopes up. Do you know that every great creator in this world, every single one of them, the common trait they all possessed is that they had not only high hopes, they went to the stratosphere beyond that, which is where hopes become expectations, because they were willing to do the work that their vision was asking of them. It is absolutely imperative that you have high hopes. High hopes should be held in place for your health, for your relationships, for your bank account, for your faith, for your whatever it is. But you got to have high hopes. Otherwise, you are destined for a life of mediocrity at best.
Amen, dude.
At best, it'll be mediocre. And I got to tell you, it's the rare bird that will even achieve mediocrity. Because if low hopes are your template, then, you know, low hopes are where your life winds up. Yep. So please, everybody, put that piece of life teaching on an Etch-a-Sketch tonight and shake that screen clean that you're not supposed to have high hopes. Okay, it's okay. And it's okay if some of the things you envisioned don't come true, right? Reach back, use the hand you were given by God and dust the dust or wipe the dust off your ass and get back in the saddle and keep riding. But don't ever, ever for any reason give up your high hopes. High hopes keep us hungry, and high hopes ensure that we've got the miraculous right around the corner.
I got to tell you, man, I'm sitting here chomping at the bit that I was I don't want to say my entire life, but my entire childhood, I was told, you're a pipeline dreamer. You need to get your head out of the freaking clouds and get into reality.
Well, that doesn't mean reality. That means get into my reality.
My reality.
Right. They're wanting to invite you into their reality.
Right. Right. I'm a loser, so get in here with me now.
Why can't you hurry up and think life sucks and get aboard my train?
Right.
I mean, really?
That's the truth, though. So look, Weldon says that's his mom's favorite saying. She just said it on Monday. I have often, though, or thought, I think he meant thought, that is why my mom says it. She knows it drives me to push harder. You know,
well, it might be why she says it nowadays, but originally I'm sure she says it for one reason, Weldon, and it's because it was what was said to her.
Yep. It's programming.
It's environmental, you know.
In the book, you know, everybody talks about the book, The Four Agreements, and I love the book, The Four Agreements, but I think that people miss the most important part of that book. And
why don't you take us through that and let me listen to your profundities?
Here's my profundity. Did I say that right?
Yes, you said it beautifully.
I don't even know what that means, but
listen, I've got a little scorecard right here. I've been keeping score of the things you've said. Look at this. Here's something you said last week's show. Here's the previous week. I've got these Post-its. Great things that Ken said, and I keep them on my wall here.
Okay, Alexa, define profundity.
Profundity is usually defined as the quality or state of being profound.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What did it say? The quality or state of being profound?
Yeah. Depth. So the most important part of that book for me.
What did you say, buddy? I'm sorry. Did you say depth?
Depth. Yeah.
Depth. Yes.
Yeah. Most important part of that book for me is he starts out the book talking about the programming of the human. The programming of the human. That's the entire first portion of that book. That's before he gets into the Four Agreements. Okay. And I don't even remember all the Four Agreements. It's
Be impeccable with your word.
Impeccable with your word. Always do your
make
best.
no assumptions.
No assumptions. Always do your best. And well, that's the last one.
And don't bet on the Cleveland Browns to win the Super Bowl, I believe was number 4.
That would be a really good one for sure.
My apologies to any of your fans from Cleveland.
I'm from Ohio and I don't.
I'm playing.
There are so many people on that train and I'm not one of them. But anyway, you know, the most important part of that book is the programming of the human. Once I think that
always do your best.
I said
that's
that.
One of them. Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
I did. I think
so. We covered 3 of the 4. Good. Tell me about the programming.
I think we both need. I bought Ron White's and Kyle's course coming up, by the way. So I'll learn how to increase my memory power. Yeah. But anyway, so here's what I think. I think that it's just like, you've read the book The Road Less Traveled by
M. Scott Peck? You bet I have.
And the very first 3 words in that book are probably the most powerful words of any book ever written, and that is
Made in China.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Life is difficult. Those are the first 3 words. Life is difficult. And he's saying, I'm not saying that to have you walk around and incessantly whine about how difficult life is. He's saying that if you realize that there's gonna be issues that pop up, there's gonna be things that happen, it's just the way it is, then you're gonna more easily transcend the difficulties of life when they pop up.
I think he could have added the 2 words "at times."
You got to read. Can I just read you the first here? I
was hoping you would. That's the only reason I said it, was to prompt you reading the first page.
I'll read the first page because that's not the only reason.
We really are like an old married couple, and we've only known each other for 2 friggin' months, not even 2 months.
Problems and Pain, Chapter 1. Life is difficult. This is a great truth, one of the greatest truths. It is a great truth because once we truly see this truth, we can transcend it. Once we truly know that life is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult.
Okay.
Because once it is accepted, the fact that life is difficult no longer matters. Most do not fully see this truth in life, that life is difficult. Instead, they moan more or less, incessantly, noisily, or subtly about the enormity of their problems, their burdens, and their difficulties, as if life were generally easy and as if life should be easy. They voice their belief noisily or subtly that their difficulties represent a unique kind of affliction that should not be and has somehow been especially visited upon them, or else upon their families, their tribe, their class, their nation, their race, or even their species, and not upon others. I know about this moaning because I've done my share. Blah, blah, blah. So it goes on from there, and it's a brilliant book. And I think that it's just like the 4 agreements, the beginning, where he says, hey, look, you've been programmed. From the moment you're born, you pop out of your mother's womb into this world, the programming begins. And as soon as you realize that you've been programmed, you recognize, it's like when I'm 17 years sober, when I finally the light bulb came on, I realized, oh shit, they were all right. I do have a drinking problem. I have a problem with alcohol.
Were you the last one to figure that out?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I was. Everybody else knew except for me. But so when I finally realized that, well, then I surrendered to it. Right? I surrendered and I said, okay, I got a problem. Now what? Let's transcend this biatch. So that's what I started down that path, that journey to do. It's the same thing with realizing that you've been programmed. You can either say, well, you know what? I accept my programming. I'm very, very happy being a little biatch all the time and complaining about everything and having my Democratic or Republican viewpoint and knowing that they're all wrong and I'm right and you can go on your miserable way in life that way. That's fine. But if life isn't always going exactly the way you want it, would you be open to at least exploring the possibility that there could be a better way to live?
Yep. And if you can keep your ego in check, the answer will always be yes to that.
Amen, man.
But if your ego is not in check, then the exploration aspect of living is not so interesting to them that have already made up their minds.
It's true
about the way it is. But I think a good question, Ken, to route all of this through is, was my opinion something I came up with, or was it issued to me?
Right.
And if it was issued to you, it might be time for a closer inspection to see if the opinion you hold is actually merely somebody else's. And it turns out you don't agree with it at all. You just never stopped to question it.
Right.
So how could you know if you agree or disagree with your own opinion if you've never put it on under magnifying glass and examined it? Right. And the beautiful thing is, truth holds up in just incredibly well under examination. Right. So there's nothing. Oh, can you put that one up? I want to read that one again. Failure is a success story if you look at it the right way. Yes, I'm posting that again because I believe it applies to the current conversation. Yep. That's beautiful.
Amen.
So
Colin's deep. I like this dude.
I like Colin as well. I like his input tonight. It's very good. And there's a saying that how we do anything is how we do everything. So I suspect that how Colin's showing up tonight is how Colin shows up in his life. Period. So he's got to be an interesting cat in all areas of his life. Hey, Ken, I'm gonna make a daring move right now, and I will keep it in good taste.
Okay.
But I'm about to say something that I think will probably result in a phone call between us after we go off the air, and you'll just say, dude, that was courageous, and thank you for what you said, because I know you. And here's what I want to say to everybody. First of all, it's not going to hurt your business at all, Ken, because you are attracting people for the right reasons, my dear brother. You are attracting them for the right reasons, and it's beautiful. You intend well for others. I know that. If that were not the truth, I would have sniffed your butt out a long time ago. Yeah. I would have sniffed you out within a couple of days of meeting you. But because both of us are involved in the personal development world, I want to say this about the personal development world, and something that many of you have already run into. Some of you may have run into it many, many times. But I shared this thought with Ken earlier today, and I want to share it with everyone else as briefly as is possible.
Yeah.
Which is simply this. Do not make the mistake when you go to attend an event that the people who are on stage necessarily have better lives than you do. Don't make that assumption. That's one of Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. Make no assumptions. So that's the first one I want to caution you against, is don't make that assumption. Because those of us who are speakers, we have an inside track. We know what goes on behind the curtain. We know what comments are made behind the curtain. And in so many instances, unfortunately, what you are purchasing is a performance. And yes, this is an actor saying this to you. You are purchasing someone's presentation. And here is why. In order to get you to sign up, the first thing that they need to have you believe is that their life is better than yours. And I didn't say more worthwhile. I didn't say that. I said better, as in it's going better. They are making more money. They are in better relationships. They have a house that many of you wish that you had, or a car, or a boat, or maybe they own their own plane or a helicopter. And I want to tell you, I have danced with people at the top of my business, of show business, and many of them at the top are colossally broken. Many. I've had a person, I will not say who out of respect for the individual, but who the week they had signed a contract for $42 million were crying in my arms and saying, I want so badly what you have. And what they were referring to was peace. That is not said from a self-congratulatory place, nor from ego. It's said from grace and from gratitude. I am at peace. I'm grateful to be at peace. And it's interesting to say that I've fought my way to peace. And what I mean by that is I've fought my way through challenges, through personal choices that I have made that were very painful. Things that I'm, like so many other human beings, not proud of, but they were part of my learning curriculum. They were part of what I apparently needed to go through in order to become who I've become in my life. And I wouldn't give that back for anything in the world, right? So if we had to trade in the experiences we've been through, that would be nice, except that it would also cost you what you learned. And that's what I'm unwilling to part with. I'm unwilling to part with what I've learned about what makes life work. So just know this, you've got your own answers. That's what I want to tell you. Now, is going to these weekends a good thing? You bet. But go with a clear head. Go with a clear head and an open mind, and don't go do a big prosperity weekend because you think that somebody else has it and you don't. And a responsible speaker, a really love-centric speaker, and someone who means you well, and they're not a con man or a con person, con woman. What they will do is make sure that you leave with value. Then they have done their job. If there are several takeaways that truly, when the end of the weekend comes, you feel bolstered by having spent that time, that energy, that money, then that's great. And instead of going and looking for different speakers, look for more from that speaker or similar speakers who have your best interest in mind. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying slow down, check in with your gut, make sure that the person who you're listening to scans pure and that they do, in fact, have your best interest in mind and not just your money. Ken and I do this show along with Scott McCain every week, and it is unmonetized in a financial way. It is monetized. It's monetized by vibrations. It's monetized by good feelings, but there's no cash in it. So we only do this show because it leaves us feeling good. Yeah, we love each other. What we all have in common is we're digging this thing called life. We have a common faith in God, and it's not the mirror image, but it's certainly very common. And we love bringing goodness to our listeners. End of story. And you say, what's the catch? How about this? In a rarely said phrase, there is no catch.
Right.
There is no catch. None of us want anything from you, and we want you to listen, or how about this? Not listen. Do whatever you want to do. You want to watch for 10 minutes and turn it off? Do that. You want to be with us for an hour, hour and a half? Do that. And if you never want to turn it on, then you failed because you obviously have us on right now. But if you never want to turn us, you like that one, Ken? But if you never want to turn us on, or you've heard about us and you're like, I don't care about those guys, then don't watch.
Right.
Because we're not invested in that. We're well-meaning people. Seek out the well-meaning people in your life, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Do your best to avoid the con people that are out there because they are in droves.
They are. I want to bring this comment up, and I'd like to address it. Someone else's success in an area we attempted to be successful in and didn't excel doesn't necessarily mean we are failing. And I'd like to talk about that, if I may.
Do it.
That's absolutely not the truth at all, Colin. That means that if you tried and you didn't succeed and somebody else did succeed, that means you're a loser. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. That is part of the journey, man. That's part of the deal. Like, and I'm kidding. I hope he didn't just like go, screw this dude, I'm out of here. But like part of the deal is we have to go through we have to go through these what we call failures. I don't see them as failures at all. And again, there's so many, there's a myriad of things that we could use as examples. Let's take Colonel Sanders at 65 or whatever the legend is, that he retired and said, holy crap, I can't live on this government check that I'm getting. And you know, and he went out and had this recipe, and he was trying to sell the recipe to these local restaurants all over, drove around, slept in the back of his station wagon, and finally
Colonel Sanders slept in his car
in his station wagon.
God.
Yeah, at 65, 66, 67 years old, he was retired from his job. And then eventually he came across, and it was like I forget the number. It was like the 900th door that he knocked on or something insane. And the guy's like, you know what? I'd rather just invest in you to take this amazing recipe, because he made the chicken for the guy, and help you open your own restaurant. And bam, that's when Kentucky Fried Chicken was born. And I got to tell you, man, I think it's the best chicken in the world. So
I occasionally will have it, but I used to eat KFC all the time until I looked down and noticed that the buttons on my pants were practicing social distancing from one another.
You know,
and I don't eat it as much.
It's that, and you know, why can I not? It's late here, man. Who the guy that invented the light bulb? Oh my God.
Thomas Edison.
Thank you. So you know, he failed over and over and over, and I've heard
hundreds of times.
Yeah, well, I've heard people say it was 999 times. I doubt that that's accurate, but whatever it was, he recorded each failure. He recorded details of each failure, and people called him crazy and said, "Give up! What are you doing? You're a madman. You just keep failing over and over and over." And he's like, "No, I've just discovered another way that that the light bulb's not going to work, but I may have found something that's useful for something else."
Right. Each one of those moments were simply, that ain't it.
That's not it. But I might be able to use that for something else in the future. So Colin said, you had me for a second. I was about to stop watching. That is funny. But I mean,
this goes back to his comment when he said failure is a success story if you look at it the right way. I mean, that's beautiful.
It is. I agree. Let
me shout out to Earl Browning III, who's watching tonight, my dear beloved brother.
What's up, Earl?
Earl was on our show one night, but I want you to meet him, Ken. He's the best, man.
I met him.
No, I'm saying live in person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, like someday you're going to meet me. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, you're flying up here. I'm kidding.
I will come see you in Ohio.
I'm coming to Dallas, dude.
Will you know that you are loved, and you'll appreciate when I demonstrate the commitment to show up in Ohio?
I would just crap, dude.
Don't dare me.
I'll pick you up at the airport.
Don't dare me.
I double dog dare you. I think you're chicken.
What are some of these other comments before we call it a night? There's got to be some
need to wrap up. Some great comments, man. Great comments.
I always like going back over these at the end of the night. What did Ralph say? Love y'all and good night. Oh, my buddy Ralph.
Good night. Thanks for being here.
Ralph's one of my actors at the studio. He's a good dude.
I've seen him in there.
Thanks. I used to refer to him as a good guy till I met you. Now everybody's a good dude.
Somebody told me that the word dude in Spanish means something really bad. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
I speak Spanish. I don't know that dude is a
Earl said hey to you in here. I popped it up there before.
Earlier he did, but I guess when I didn't acknowledge him immediately, he walked away with his wounded feelings.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I'll probably need to call him and put that fire out later tonight and say, talk him off the ledge. And, you know. Do you know Edward James Olmos Friday? I do. Do you? I do.
Join us. And tomorrow, Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, in fact, I've done movies with Edward James Olmos, and I had a great discussion with him in the morning at Burbank Airport one day at about 6 a.m. He and I were waiting to get on the same plane to go to Salt Lake City to be a part of the comic convention up there. And we each had our booth where we signed autographs. Good guy. Really good guy.
Awesome. Edward. Why I know his name.
You know him. Look up Google search images. You'll know him in a heartbeat.
Edward James
Olmos.
Oh my God. That's yeah, I know him.
Yeah, a well-known dude.
Wasn't he on I can hear the song. It's a crime show.
What were you thinking of? Law and Order or something?
Yeah.
Like doom 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 doom.
Yes.
Doom, doom, doom. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yep, that's it.
They could send me a check for humming their song.
What?
Let's get it out there into the minds of people.
They need to send you.
I've done that show, man. I've done that show a couple of times.
Have you? Wasn't he on that?
I don't know. Probably was. Well, look it up. If you say Edward James Olmos and Law and Order, it'll show you if he has.
Thursday is Carlos Gomez. Do you know him?
That's Carlos Gomez is a guest. I don't know him.
Do you know Rick Najera?
No, but it sounds like I need a Hispanic last name to ever do Carlos Phoenix's show. My name is Glenn Garcia. Glenn Garcia, and I'm gonna sound like this. Come on, my friend, give me a call. It's okay. It's okay. I've got a couple of my students. They love when I break out into my Hispanic dialect.
You have a lot. You do have several Hispanic students. I've
and
met.
They love it because they know Daddy loves to play. None more so than my buddy Phil.
Miami Vice.
Phil Mendoza, my buddy Phil Mendoza. He always talking to me like this, and we have so much fun. We do. But then again, sometimes I've got to be able to teach an entire class and sound like this, and other times I go, "И проглед идиот." Простите, барыша, могу это сделать. Я очень рад вас познакомиться. Вот моя визитная карточка. And that's for my Russian students.
What the hell did you just say?
I just said you should watch the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott Sundays at 8.
Carlos said it's an Hispanic-based show in English.
Nice. Is it on the internet?
Yeah.
It's on the internet, I guess.
Yeah. Carlos, what's your show? Where is it? Drop it in there. Robert said, "Whoa" to your Russian. Whoa.
I got to ask you a question, Ken. Where did you come up with drop a 1 in the box and it's supposed to be like Ken Wall's version of agreement?
It's not me. It's
no, where did that come from? I've never heard that.
I don't know. A lot of people do that. Drop a 1 in Hey, drop a 1 in the comments if you've ever had somebody say, besides me, drop a 1 in the comments. Would you please?
And I'm going to see how long it takes.
Phoenix profile.
I'm going to see how long it takes people to drop a 1 in the
Oh,
box.
they will. I'm telling you. I know they will.
It sounds like you're telling people to urinate if you agree with me.
Do a number 1.
Right. If you agree with what I just said, do number 1.
Right. Look at all the ones pouring in.
Karen Toddy just urinated and said that she agrees. And Robert Brooker just urinated and he agrees. Corey Calvin is peeing right now with agreement. He's peeing with agreement.
Oh my God. I cannot believe 31 people are sitting here watching this and we're talking about urinating.
Well,
that reminds me of a joke, but I can't tell it.
Hey, let's do this. Let's spend the last couple of minutes on Q&A. Where we got Ken and Glenn live.
Ken and Glenn live. Q&A.
What are your questions? We're going to just sit here and wait. What are your questions? I know somebody's got to have a question.
Alan Means just joined.
Well, hello, Alan. Maybe Alan's got a question.
Karen said I needed that laugh.
Oh, when I said she was urinating on your just to indicate agreement, that's funny.
Yeah. Q&A. Anything. Ask Glenn anything.
No, ask Ken anything.
No. It was your
Ask-
idea, so they need
Ask
to
Ken
ask
and
you.
Glenn anything.
Don't ask me anything.
Someone did ask something. Let's see.
Do you know?
Isaac Morales. I've also worked with Isaac. Very good actor. Cool dude. We
Did a
have worked.
5-hour live on Facebook. Wow.
Okay. Robert is saying, if I could speak to my prostate, I would ask it, what is up with having to pee every time I walk into the kitchen? And the answer is that because the kitchen sink does not have to be flushed.
Wow, we're getting questions. Oh my God.
So let's move to the next question.
He's in the kitchen sink. Good God. He didn't say he pees in the kitchen sink. Holy crap. Oh my God. We're getting all kinds of questions now. Okay, here. Glenn, how did you learn to articulate your thoughts so clearly and eloquently?
I don't want to give a smart aleck answer. I want to be serious because, you know, I, like so many people, have been through a number of tumultuous events when I was quite a bit younger. And what I had left were two things: my unswerving belief in God and my faith in my ability to outlast whatever challenges I was experiencing. And that was true from the time I was very young. So I was always going within. Always. That was I looked for my answers within. I did not look for external validation. And the better I got to know the within, the more the external validation showed up, which is really weird. So I think that it taught me that there's great reward in healthy prioritization and I don't think there's a bigger gift we can give to the world than really getting to know who it is we are. Because until we get to know who it is we are, we will be massively unsuccessful at plugging ourselves in correctly to life itself, right? Because you don't know your design. If you don't know your design, you don't know where you fit.
All right.
It all starts with that. So that's the answer. Is I've been exploring, and also as an actor, you have to explore your own abilities.
Okay, so I'm going to put this on screen, but I want to address the question first, and then I'm going to give my answer.
All right. I'm not going to peek and look off to the side then. You just go ahead and highlight.
Okay. Glenn, why aren't you on the TV show The Blacklist? And my answer is because that no talented asshat that they had on there. I'm just kidding. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, then I have not done that show, and I don't know why.
What's his name?
James Spader.
Spader, yeah, he's a great actor.
He is a great actor. He's been around a very long time, and I don't know the answer to that. But as we get older, we can target, right? Once you're known, and I am known, so what I could do is make a phone call to my agent and say, what about us doing some guest star work on The Blacklist? That's all it would take, is a phone call.
That's awesome. So could can I make requests like, hey, I'd love to see you on Wheel of Fortune or something?
Well, I didn't finish how that experience goes. Is I call him and say, hey, Harry, my agent's name is Harry. Just say, hey, Harry, what about getting me involved with The Blacklist? And he says, don't bother me. And that's it. And that's the end of the discussion.
He says, don't bother me.
He would say, is it not enough that you're already on a very good show and you're paid very well? Let me alone. When The Resident ends, then you can call me about The Blacklist.
Wow. That is so funny. All right. So let me hold on now. You're not allowed to look at the questions.
Oh, sorry. I did not read. I was getting ready to, though.
Karen has a couple of questions. This is one. This is a good one. Glenn, do you just pick a language to learn and learn it?
I'm going to answer it in Hebrew. Yom tequila limikra kodesh zecher litziatz mitzrayim kivon vesato viosone kidashto mikolo amim vishavis kochko. No, that's all Hebrew. I know it's called I learned languages the same way people learn to play. A lot of people learn to play piano by ear. So
Mm,
I've always been fascinated by guys like this who, for whatever reason, they learn to, to handle the English language in a way that's not, how can you put it, overly eloquent, and there's a corresponding face where the lip goes out like this. And I would hear these guys and I would start doing impressions. And all of a sudden I realized that this is a cool thing, Ken. I've never told you this, that whenever you do this, all of a sudden, whatever hangups you yourself have, you don't have them anymore. Not while you're doing that character, because he's a different human being. And so I was helping people heal. Yeah, I'm not joking. This is really cool stuff.
wow.
I was helping them heal, letting go of things that were attached to what I refer to as their emotional resume.
Yeah.
They were releasing it because all of a sudden, when they were playing a guy who was like this and was smiling all the time, the guy, he is never depressed. He's never depressed. He feels too good to be depressed. So I could teach somebody to be like this. And all of a sudden, when they were done with it, they went, "Oh my God, I actually feel better."
Yeah.
I feel better because, and the reason is because they were at choice and they chose to get out of that gerbil wheel syndrome of just unending patterning, and they pattern interrupted. And then I realized, wait a minute, this is more than just for fun. This has huge spiritual value in it. And that's where I learned to speak different languages and so forth. And I do something like 26 different global dialects. I speak Spanish very well. The other languages, I only knew a few, I know a few catchphrases in Russian, Hebrew, French, and so forth, but I do not speak those languages.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. Colin, I love this question. I love this question, and I would love to answer it too.
Why don't you answer it first while I read it? Can either of you speak to a time when everyone told you that you were crazy, but yourself believe yourself?
Belief.
Oh, I got it. Your self-belief paid off. Got it. Go ahead, Ken.
Yes, I can speak to that. It is literally the story of my life. Literally the story of my life. As we were talking about earlier, the 4 agreements, the beginning of the 4 agreements, the programming of the human, your beliefs, whether you believe in yourself a lot, a little, or not at all, your belief system was given to you by other human beings, not just human beings, but circumstances that actually reinforced those beliefs. And so, and I'm not perfect at this. Tony Robbins wrote a lot about it. He talks a lot about it. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it. You literally have the ability to completely change your belief system. Completely. And I've always, something deep inside of me, I did not graduate high school. They told me I needed a biology credit to graduate. They called me in a few months before graduation. They're like, "Hey, you didn't get biology credit in 10th grade." I'm like, "Yeah, because I hated it. And I don't see the point in dissecting frogs. Never doing that again. Don't want to do it again, blah, blah, blah." And I realized at that moment that there is something fundamentally wrong with the education system. And that was at 17 years old. I realized they were really messed up. There was something deep inside of me that said, this is wrong. This is wrong. I aced calculus, trigonometry, analytic geometry, algebra. I was at the top of my freaking game with those things, taking college prep courses, and they said biology was the reason they weren't giving me a piece of paper saying you were a good boy and you passed. Good job. And I knew that there was something wrong with that deep down inside. I know it much more intellectually now than I did back then, right? Because you go through life and life happens and you learn. People told me most of my life, and still to this day, that I'm crazy. You're nuts. There's this CEO of this company that's a friend of mine, and he's worth millions and millions of dollars. And he always comes to me and says, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. This is the CEO, a guy that started his own company, right? And it's a big company. He says, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, do what? And he's like, you started with nothing. I mean, nothing. How do you keep it going? I just don't get it. And I'm like, because I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way. I don't know. It's like when people say, well, at least you didn't give up. And I think, what's that even mean? Like, what's the alternative? You didn't give up. You jump off a bridge? Like, what's the alternative? I don't know another way. So people think I'm crazy for that. And they always have. Like, you're crazy. Like, dude, you can't go start a company with $20, a $20 loan, which is what I started my business with, a $20 loan. And it was my buddy saying, get out of my house. Here's $20. Go figure it out, man. And I'm like, okay. Most people would have said, well, I'll try to make that stretch and go get a job. And not me, man. I was out knocking on doors and people thought I was freaking nuts. Like, and I probably was, but you know what? Here I am today and it's paid off, man. And it's paid off very, very well, Colin. I mean, my God, I can call Glenn Morshower my brother. And you know, I'm and it's probably because I'm crazy.
God bless you, man. Here.
I love you, dude. But that's the truth. It's the truth. What about you? Have you ever been told that you were crazy?
Ken, put your head over here and snuggle with me. Put your head over there. It is. That's nice. That was nice. That was a nice moment.
Yeah.
Are you wanting me to address that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually think being accused of being somewhat nuts is one of the highest compliments, and certainly a huge indicator that you're well on your way to greatness. Is you're going to have to run into some kind of opposition, right? Just like if you think about it, even the Earth itself, when you re-enter it, you get opposition, you get the friction of the atmosphere. As you leave it, same thing. That's why they have heat shields on these spaceships. So anytime you're going to experience a breakthrough in life, there is a field of opposition that is part of that. And basically, that field of opposition is testing our character. It's testing our level of commitment, our level of devotion. And if you're devoted, you'll put on your heat shield and you'll find a way to break through it. For me, I remember hearing, and this is not, I'm not original in this, every actor has heard it. There are two really, really nasty phrases that are said to actors, and they're nasty words that are associated with acting, and they are struggling actor or starving actor. And everyone is subjected to those growing up. When you make a decision, and the people don't mean any harm, but they casually will say to others that are wanting to go in the entertainment field, they'll say, oh, you're heading out to LA to be a struggling actor, huh? You're going to be a starving actor, huh? Well, I don't know, but that wasn't part of my game plan, right? So it's implied that it's a pipe dream, to right. Quote you, Ken. And so I just think you got to remain true to what you know is calling you, right? So it's just the way it is. But I will tell you, it goes all the way back to, I knew that I had a leaning in this direction, because back when the earliest memories I have it were when I was about 8, which was 53 years ago. When I was 8, I would stand in my bedroom every Friday night. And this is going to give all of you guys a glimpse, including you, Ken, as to where the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott and how that was even born, and how my love for Ken and us doing a talk show together came from. I've never told this story, but I stood in front of my bedroom window, which had a curtain and it had the shades on it. And that bedroom in my mother's house still, it still looks that way, that window. And I had my other brother, my brother Barry, who was my stepbrother, on Friday nights at a certain time, he would draw the curtain and the shades. He would draw the shades first and then open the curtain and I performed for 30 minutes
Wow.
to an imaginary world at nighttime.
Wow.
I did it every Friday. Nobody could see that show. And here's the deal. I wasn't kidding, and it makes me smile. It could probably bring me to tears if I really thought about it. I never did a lesser show.
Wow.
And what it occurs to me now, all these years later, I'm not talking once or twice, Ken. I did it every Friday night at 8 o'clock. Up came the shades. The curtain was opened. They were pulled back. And I started doing bits. I started doing voices and channeling and expression. Nobody was gathering outside of my home. And it was the window that faced my neighbor's house. I don't know if they ever saw me. I have no idea. They might have just thought I was looking out the window, but for whatever reason was talking. I don't know. The point is there was nobody there. But for me, what was there was my relationship with myself and expressing every thought, just opening it up. So I would say I was destined to become an actor, a speaker, someone who would be reaching out to the public. And I wouldn't do it as easily as I do it now. I don't need a friggin' script. And the reason is because I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. And all we did was add the internet.
Yep.
Nothing changed. I'm still doing what I was doing when I was 8. I have less hair. That's the only change.
That's awesome. There's I saw it here. Here it is. But it's a two-part comment.
Oh, this is from Jazz. What did the first part say? What's your number one, see what I did there, takeaway from the convo tonight? Well, I'm asking, I'd love you to answer that question, Jazz. Jazz is one of my actors from the Salt Lake City workshop, who, by the way, is a recent Texas relocatee. So she has moved to Texas, and hoping that she'll join up with our workshop down here. But I actually would like to hold up a mirror to you, Jazz, and you share with us what your takeaway is. My takeaway is that I'm sharing time with my dear friend and my soul brother, Ken Walls. And we're having an unscripted conversation.
And it's been fast.
Yes, indeed. And have you noticed, Ken, that as you look over, the comments get two things. They either get longer, or they get deeper.
Yes.
And the deeper the hosts go, the less likely you are to get comments like, "What's up?" I'm not knocking that. It's beautiful, but what I'm saying is when people get dialed in,
how does that go again? That comment?
"What's up?" Or I love this one. Sup.
Sup.
That's the late night,
Sup, dude. Sup, dude.
Sup, man.
Here, Karen's got a great question.
Jazz, please say what's your takeaway.
Jazz, what'd you get out of it, Jazz? Show them.
Oh, Karen Toddy, I joke about that. That is a paper mache. No, actually, we have two of them. The one I have downstairs is the paper mache I did when I was 9. And it's interesting. Carolyn was doing art at about that same age. I think she did that piece back there when she was 10. And it is made of hardened clay. And it's just a bust that she did as a young girl. And what she didn't know is that she would, if you look at us side by side, she was actually creating the man she would meet's head. So she didn't even know she was designing her husband.
Oh,
right?
My God.
Because I look scarily similar to that bust.
Okay, here's what Jazz says. I love it. My takeaway is do what you were born to friggin' do and stop apologizing for it. Amen, Jazz. Wow. Amen.
Okay, Jazz, you graduate. No need to ever study with me anymore. You are complete.
Awesome, Jazz. I love that answer.
She's the coolest. She is a very illuminated young lady.
Very, very good. She said, LOL, I love this.
So Jazz, have you been watching our shows, or are you just tuning in tonight? Do you watch the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott on Sundays? Or did you just happen to see this?
Why? If not, why? And have you liked the Facebook page, the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott? There's actually a Facebook page. Excuse me. This is her first. Oh my dear Lord, have mercy.
Oh, honey, you've got so many backlogged shows to look at.
And they're only 3-4 hours a piece. So
yeah, Ken and I have been on the air for about 6 weeks nonstop, but we do have a regular time slot on Sunday evenings that we do with a guy named Scott McCain out of Las Vegas.
8
And
p.m.
it's called,
Standard Time.
yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central for you here in Texas, and 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's called The Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. Hey,
She has a really happy look on her face and her
she's a happy, beautiful, illuminated person. Ken, will you show Jazz the opening to the show?
I will. Who wants to drop a 1 in the comments if you would like to see the opening to the show? Drop a 1. I don't.
Well, here's my 1. I'm dropping a 1.
If you would like to see the intro video that we did for the show, drop a 1. Up, Jazz dropped a 1. It only takes 1, and I'll do it. Like, oh, look at this, Corey Cow. We got Karen. Oh, the ones are just blowing up. Okay, here we go. Colin, everybody wants to see it. So let's show the opening to the show. Should I show them the background that my friend Lisa made for us too?
Sure. I love that.
Isn't that cool?
That's beautiful.
That's really cool. I don't know how it's going to look with 3 of us on here, but we'll find out. We will find out. Robert Brooker just shared our page out. Thank you for that, Robert Brooker.
Look at Weldon. Weldon went ape shit. He went 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
He did. Look, Megan DiMartino's on here. Everybody's dropped a 1. That's awesome. So here, let me just show you. Why would you not? Colin said, why would you not? Why would I not what? Show the video?
Hey, there's a good sentence. Let's post that one as a game. Why would you not? And then fill in the blank. I would add to the back sentence, go ahead and be the greatest version of you there is possible. Why would you not?
That's I love that. Here,
yes, why would you not is the first part of the question.
Yes. All right.
So after you play the video, I want to ask people to finish that sentence tonight. Why would you not?
It's late. After I finish the video, we're finishing the video. It's 12:46 in the morning here.
Well, let me show you. Here's a laugh. Look, before you go to the video, here's a laugh. Years ago, when I was a young man, this is from my office. Ready? When I was a young man, I met Gerald Ford. Can you see this?
Oh, look at that.
And now if you look very closely,
oh, look, yeah.
I have become Gerald Ford.
You have. Look. Oops.
Look, now look.
Wow.
So that was then. Let me get it up close.
Yeah.
And if you look, I'm now friggin' Gerald Ford. That's scary.
Eerily similar. Eerily similar. Okay. Let's show everybody the video. They're sitting on pins and needles. Oh, I meant, why would you not show us the background? But oh, yes, that's a great point. Well, because we hadn't really decided that we were going to use the background.
Right. And that's what talk show hosts do, is they take ideas and run with them.
Right.
Are you going to show the video, Ken, or are you just trying to get a bunch of people to obey you? And
Glenn, could I show the video now?
Please.
Here we go.
So,
And
Jazz, that's what we do on Sunday nights.
that's what we do right there on Sunday nights. He's trying to make us stay up until 1 a.m. Hey, there's Ashley. Ashley's in the house. She's in your class.
We love Ashley. She is
Awesome. Yes,
she is part of our class.
I've seen her in the class.
And I got to tell you, she did a scene from Drive-In, my first film. She did a scene for that from that movie for my birthday last week, and it brought me to tears. She was so good.
There were a lot of great scenes. I was driving down the road, remember?
Yep.
I saw a lot of them, though.
So what are we doing? Saying goodnight?
Jazz is applauding the intro video. Thank you, Jazz. Jazz, the bigger applause would be if you show up to our show. and
Jazz, be aware that Ken goes live often, and he has a daily show.
Oh, wow.
Called Breakthrough Walls.
I do at 11 a.m. Please send me a friend request, or you can send me a friend. I don't know. I deleted some people that it's interesting. Never mind. I don't want to get into I'll get into the weeds. I don't want to go there. I'm tired.
Right. You know how I know you're tired is when you very excitedly start a subject and then go, you know what? Never mind. When it's earlier in the evening, you'll go, hey, Glenn, here's a really cool idea. And then you roll. And now you start, and then you go, I don't even have the energy to cover this.
Look, man, you are like, look.
I'm like the Energizer Bunny, dude.
This is my deputy sheriff hat. I'm putting it on. And
okay, well, this is my mint.
My hat is off to you. My
mint is off to you.
And this is my CSI hat. And that hat is off to you as well, because you do on Mondays and Tuesdays, you do your acting school for 13 hours straight.
Both days.
Both, I know. And it's unbelievable. Look, Weldon says when he's tired, he stops saying dude.
Who does? Ken? That's funny.
That is funny. That's not funny, Weldon.
It's funny.
Anyway, look, man, as always, I don't think I've ever done a live stream video with you where I ended it and didn't say, man, that was awesome, except for you showing your mint.
Well, can I just say that because I do not esteem a mint to be a substantial food source, that I would like to at this time go eat dinner.
Yes, you should. Oh, you haven't had dinner yet?
I have not had dinner.
Dude.
Buddy, I haven't even gone by the studio, and if you remember, that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, man. Are you still going?
Yes, because I love you. That's why I'm here.
Are you like somebody said it in your birthday video? One of the dudes said, Glenn, do you hang from the ceiling in caves at night?
Like I'm a vampire. I knew what they meant.
A bat.
What does it say? Glenn, I legit told my dad that you knew who I was and he lost his mind. He loves 24. Thanks for making me cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I'm genuinely somewhat troubled by the fact that it took me to make you cool in your dad's eyes.
Colin, don't.
I like Colin. Colin's a good dude. Where does he live?
Colin, where do you live, man? Where do you live? Robert says, I believe it, and I bet it is a source of joy and abundant energy. I think he's talking
classes.
Huh?
Is he referring to the classes?
Oh, maybe yes. He would get it. Robert would love your
class.
class.
Ask Robert for clarification. Robert, can you clarify what you're referring to?
I think it's the classes. The classes are, oh my God. They're unbelievable. If you guys are not in these classes, by the way, you have observer spots, right?
We do.
It's incredible. I mean, you'll learn not only acting skills, but you'll just learn how to be a better human.
Well, it's primarily about life enrichment, meaning it's about 55% about that and living an aligned life, and then 45% about acting and how those two overlap.
Oh, Colin lives in Indiana.
Oh,
Scott,
he's an Indiana dude.
Scott used to be one of your regulars for what?
Regular, yeah, what?
Please don't say
now here's a review from Jazz, Ken.
Hopefully he's not a pimp.
Jazz is saying that the classes are completely transformative.
Yes.
Thank you, honey. I'm glad that you have found that to be the case. That's certainly what my original vision was, my intention, and my commitment. They all
did my joke just like go out it went right out the window when I said hopefully Colin's not a pimp.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh man.
Well, the phrase
I tried.
You know the phrase for a pimp, the catchphrase for a pimp in Indiana. Who's your daddy?
Oh my God.
Oh, come on. That's a good one.
That's good.
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? Oh, Scott and Tammy used to sit at the bar. That's awesome, man. I love Scott and Tammy. I know both of them very well. They're amazing people.
They used to sit at the bar as a way of life, or what?
No. I think I'm going to do an observer class. I missed coming when Jordan was attending.
Yeah, well, we do have that. It's considerably less a month. It's very affordable.
Yeah.
It winds up being $25 a class. That's what it is. And for that, you can observe as many classes a week as you wish, which takes it down to, I think, $6 a class.
That's great.
In fact, I can give you the exact price. It winds up being $6.25 a class to observe. If you want to sit in on all 4 classes, that's a total of 16 classes a month. It averages out to $6.25 per class because you're getting 16 classes for $100.
That's nuts.
I make it affordable because I want as many people to watch it as
and it's
as will allow.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. I'll tell you, just as a lay person that's not an actor in any way. I mean, I have my show, I guess. I don't know if that's acting. I just come on and ask questions and be me. But
we're going to put you in a scene, brother. We're going to do it.
Yeah. We'll see about that. So, I could do the left or right turn, Clyde. So, what it's done for me. Did that airplane joke just land? So
I got it when you said it, but I'm just thinking that your audience does not know what you mean by that. And I'm just
sitting here, a lot of them do.
I'm thinking how many people that just dropped, they didn't.
No, I'll bet you 50. Drop a 1 if you got.
Oh God, with the drop of 1.
Right turn, Clyde. Go ahead, punk. Make my day. So
does your toilet talk to you when it sits down and it tells you, drop a 1 now, Ken. Drop a 2 now, Ken. Does it do that?
Oh my
you should
God.
have a voice-activated toilet, bud.
Look. Even Corey Calvin got
Here's
it.
Corey going batshit crazy. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Scene with me in a heartbeat.
Okay, there you go. You've got Carrie Graves volunteering to be a scene partner for you.
Holy shit. Yeah. So here Ashley says, I learned a tremendous amount while sitting in and observing before I started taking classes as a performing member. That's awesome.
Well, there you have it. There's a beautiful testimonial.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, I have you to thank for having it be the class without a zip code, because we used to be, I had to physically travel to each of these cities. Now, that could be referred to as somewhat Cro-Magnon man-esque in terms of my understanding that I don't have to physically be there.
Yeah.
But I caught a flight for a year and a half. I caught a flight every week from Dallas to LA, from LA to Salt Lake, and Salt Lake back to Dallas. I was in all three cities to run 3 studios every week.
Holy moly.
Every week without fail. And then when the series came along, it needed my body to be in yet a 4th city, and that was too much. So I had to let go of Salt Lake. Then after that, shortly afterward, the demands became even greater in Atlanta. I became a series regular, and I had to let go of Los Angeles. Now those doors are being reopened, courtesy of the internet, because I don't have to physically travel, and I can do it from the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
So I actually teach acting from this exact spot that I'm sitting in tonight. And
I, if I may just kind of edify you a little bit, and Colin, that is actually a really funny.
Why are we all still watching?
Insightful question. I agree. You may want to start writing out some goals tonight.
Well, maybe you were waiting for one of us to present what we esteem to be one of our staple pieces. You know, I don't know.
So let me edify you a little bit. I know nothing about acting. Nothing. I do know what a dramatic pause is, but I know nothing about acting. But I watch and I'm like, man, this is cool. Like, I didn't know what eye lines were. I still don't know that I know exactly, but I've seen it a lot, right? And the more I watch this, the more it's starting to make sense to me. It's really cool. Look, I watched that is freaking funny right there. That is
to make myself better. At this point, I'm only moving backwards.
Oh my God. That's funny. All right. Well, with that,
let's say goodnight. Now that we know that we have destroyed Colin's life, it's probably time to call it a night.
He's going to drink himself out of business now because of us.
So they used to be regular customers of his in an Indiana restaurant? Nice.
Yeah. Karen says Colin for the win. Ouch.
Yeah, Colin did win this.
We have some fair weathered fans and friends here, it appears, Glenn. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay.
We still love them. All right. Hey, dude, thank you for popping on. And
I love you. I'm going to eat dinner, then go to my school, and I'll be up there doing work beginning at about 1 a.m. And I'll be cleaning out the building until about 4. And then I'll go home, come home and watch a little bit of television, take my morning walk at 5:45, eat breakfast when I get back at 7, and actually hit the hay probably around 7:30.
So it sounds like you kind of have a boring life.
I'm a night owl. I love my nights. I'm in midday mode right now. I'm not even slightly tired. I rested so well last night. I told you that. And then tomorrow there's a 3-day event that I'm speaking at that's getting underway. And so that'll be fun to watch a little of it online. And
you and I are speaking at an event next week.
Tell them, do you know the name of the event? Is there a little promo plug you can put up? And let's add that it's the first time we've been booked as Ken and Glenn since we got the show underway, which I think is awesome.
I think it's absolutely incredibly cool. Let me find a little graphic here we could show some folks real fast, and then we are gonna end this, right?
At some point, that's the word.
At some point in the near to distant future.
Mm-hmm.
So let me share.
I love that there are folks out there that are hanging on to this ship to the bitter end. They are not getting in the lifeboats. They are staying with us, baby. And if this thing stinks, they're going down with us, but they are with us. I love that.
Yeah. So it's called the Shift Virtual Series. I will post this on Facebook with a link. You can go sign up. It's free to attend. There's going to be Glenn and I are on there. Anthony Melchiori. Anthony is on television. I forget, on the Travel Channel. I think he's on the show Hotel Impossible. He's the host of that. Great guy. Zach Benson, good friend of mine, amazing dude, Instagram influencer, has millions of followers among his brands. Judy Fox, she's a huge, beautiful person. Just her soul she's just a great person. Love Judy. She's going to be there speaking. She is a LinkedIn influencer. She teaches people how to operate their LinkedIn. So if you guys want, you could take a screenshot of that real quick if you so desire. But it's May 6th through the 8th. Glenn and I are going to be speaking there together in an interview style, I'm pretty sure.
At the end of the day on the 6th, correct?
I believe so, yes. That Wednesday on the 6th, yeah, at the end of the day. So
I'm surprised that Colin Murphy and Weldon Whitehurst are not part of the lineup.
I know. They should be, for real.
They chime in with such really cool stuff. It just seems like that they would be there. And Karen Toddy should be on the lineup as well. There's Sherry Gideons.
Look who just joined us, Miss Sherry. Love
Just
Sherry.
as the ship was going down, Ken.
Yeah, she came on to save us.
Maybe Sherry pulled up in the Coast Guard cruiser to see if we would just get aboard.
Yeah.
Hi, Sherry.
We are ending this live stream. Thank you to all 14 of you that stayed on here and endured the painful last moments of this. You ready to sign off there, Captain?
I am. I love you, bud. I love all you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday evening wherever you are. Whatever you do when you get up in the morning, go out and make it a great day. And above all, help someone else to do the same.
Love that, man. Love that. Guys, have a great night. Thank you for being here.